everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is acidic. How is everyone doing this evening? Welcome back to the OMB channel. Also, welcome to the Open Forum. That's right, we are bringing back the Open Forum tonight. No topic is off the table, within reason, of course. There are certain things that I simply cannot say or talk about as a Catholic school teacher, but any questions or comments or subjects that you've always wanted to talk about, but it's never been the subject matter of the streams, tonight is the night for that to happen, as apparently Joe Biden has just won South Carolina. So that apparently was a very quick decision. It just turned to 7 p.m. Eastern time when it ended. So based off of various things, looks like Fox News is projecting that he's going to win. Thought that would be drawn out a little longer, but can't really say I'm surprised. Color me surprised. I say not. But what is going on to my D-Live and my YouTube peeps? Hope you are all doing very well. Also, I believe it's Captain Dean Heiss who's celebrating a sub-anniversary today. So thank you very much for that, for being a longtime supporter over on D-Live. We've got Faux Nemo over on D-Live as well. We got Captain Poppyton over there as well. And also, there is a message I believe I may have forgotten to read last stream. And so before I get into the YouTube chat, just in case I forgot, Edward Coleman gave me a $5 donation last stream. I think I read it, but I just want to make sure. So again, shout out to Edward Coleman for the $5 donation via Streamlabs. Said, Bob Iger is a start, but I'm not spending $1 on Disney Star Wars until Kathleen Kennedy is gone. I once was one of the biggest Star Wars fans, read every EU book, even had a Star Wars themed wedding, but their agenda killed my love for the franchise. So I think I read that, but I just wanted to be on the safe side with that. So hope you are doing well, Edward Coleman. Thank you for the donation via Streamlabs. And yeah, thank you all so very much for being here and for being amazing, beautiful people. In fact, speaking of which, I need to add this really quickly so that way that gets recorded, because I'm a bit of a political junkie. Even though I hate modern politics, it drives me absolutely insane. I do still like following the process, if that makes any sense. If you're like that, let me know in the chat as well. Stephanie B is in the chat. Hey-o, what is going on, Stephanie B? We got HyperNex13, Dory the Hobbit, Robert Frey, G-Monkey76 is here as well. Bruce is in the chat. Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. Says, made the 6-hour trip again to Best Buy on Thursday for a new laptop. Ooh, Father, what'd you get? I'm also a tech head, tech geek, so let me know, what kind of laptop did you get? Soul Assassin is here. Trevor Random is here as well. Member Alex McCarthy. What's going on, member Alex McCarthy? Says, howdy, Odin. How's it going? Open Forum. How about that John Cena versus Bray? Dude, Alex, I'm just going to be honest. I do not care about Raw or SmackDown. I don't care about the main shows anymore. Don't care. I just honestly have lost any interest. I don't watch them anymore. I barely follow up on them. In fact, I think you're the only one that even keeps me updated about what's going on Raw and SmackDown. It's that bad, right? Like, so I'll try and watch back pay-per-views every now and then if it's a pay-per-view that I actually care about. But right now, I'm almost all in on all elite wrestling AEW. The biggest problem there is the fact that they've got a man currently holding the women's title, and I'm not okay with that. I don't like the political agendas they're trying to push in their women's division with that nonsense. It's really ridiculous overall. But yeah, you're the only one, dude, that talks about Raw or SmackDown, and I don't care. Just gonna be honest, I don't care. It means nothing to me anymore because they've destroyed characters, and everything about the show has just been. Vince needs to retire. Plain and simple, Vince needs to retire. He's lost his touch. He's gonna lose so many hardcore wrestling fans to AEW, and you know what? He deserves it at this point. He deserves it. Mr. Peabody is over in the YouTube chat. Hologram Nunchuck is here as well. Destiny 28, what is going on? HyperNex13 says, what was your favorite childhood TV show growing up? Mine was Ben 10. I would probably say, hold on, just want to make sure that this was, what's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, cool. It's still paused. Anyway, my favorite show growing up. I loved shows like Gargoyles. Loved Gargoyles, the animated show growing up. Didn't last too long as a series, but was a big fan of it. Batman, the animated series, was a favorite of mine. The original Power Rangers series was fantastic as well, long before I was able to ever tell that show was dubbed. Yes, that's right. That's how young I was when I started watching that show. I couldn't even tell as a kid. that it was dubbed because I was a stupid child and had no idea what was going on. So I love that. I loved a lot of Nickelodeon Disney shows too. Salute Your Shorts was a great show. All the game shows were great as well. I mean, there's so many that I could, that I totally forgotten right now. But basically, 90s television was some of the best television that I think we've ever had. Just my own thought on that. Phonemo over on DLive says, insisted to be... instead of being a political junkie, used to be, okay, gotcha. Phonema says, used to be a political junkie, but I stopped caring since all the virtue signaling started. Oh yeah, same here, man. Like, that's why when it comes to like the actual politicians themselves, I don't really care as long as I'm not getting hurt or I'm not going to be directly impacted by it. And as long as, bigger things aren't going to be directly impacted by it, I don't really care as much. I'm just so tired of the political toxicity that we have right now going on in our country. And I don't think any of the people currently at the top of any of the tickets are really helping with that very much. All I know is that right now I'm doing very well. Right now, so far, the economy is doing very well, coronavirus aside. And so that's pretty much all I can say about it. Alex McCarthy says, color me embarrassed to be born and raised from South Carolina. Oh, born and raised South Carolina. Going for big Joe Biden. You know what's going to happen to? Joe Biden's going to take this win and he's going to say, look, you see, I'm still in this. Even though I personally, if you had to ask me, I think Bernie's got it. If it's not Bernie, I would say that in all likelihood, it's going to be a brokered convention, which is going to be complete chaos. But that's the kind of stuff I like. I like chaos. I don't like things being predictable. I don't like things being, controlled by that they want the people, the higher ups in the DNC. They want to control who the nominee is. And if they have no one as the nominee by the time the convention comes, I want the chaos. I want the absolute madness let's see. All right, just responding to a text message there. But hope everyone's doing. Robert Frey's in the chat. What's going on, Robert Frey? Destiny28 says, what's up, Odin? How are you? I'm doing just fine, Destiny28. I hope you are doing fine as well on this wonderful Saturday evening. Father Christopher Miller says, streaming during Super Tuesday is going to stink, eh? Oh, Lord, Father, yes, indeed. I'm not going to lie. I might make Tuesday an open forum as well, just so that we can jump around topics and not say, oh, look, we're talking Star Wars, and then a bunch of people come to watch about Star Wars, and then they're like, wait a minute, I didn't come to see a bunch of random political calls, and it's like, hey, it's just because that's something that still interests me. I don't know why. Bruce says Elon Musk might financially back an elitist sequel. Yeah, so a lot of people have been contacting me about that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the Alita image on the rocket? And you know what? Hey, if money goes towards Alita and it goes towards a sequel, that could be really good. I don't know much more about it other than Alita being put on a rocket. I'm assuming that he had to pay some money to the holder of the IP. But again, I don't know if it would be the holder of the manga, the IP of the manga, or here's the thing with that. I know that James Cameron owns the rights to the movie for Alita Battle Angel, owns the rights to make movies about Alita Battle Angel. I don't know if he owns outright the character of Alita, for example, in the manga series or any other medium. So I don't know if any money that Elon spent is going directly to the movie or not. I have not done a whole lot of research on that because to me, it's just Elon doing Elon stuff. It's just Elon being Elon, just putting things up there. HyberX13 says, I have a sequel idea for Parasite. Sorry, it's a bit spoilery and will take a few comments for me to tell what it's about, but I think you'll have the idea just sharing for fun. That sounds fine, man. Just if you could try and speak in coded language, that'd be great. That would be great. Let us see here. Dean Approve says, on politics, I get you. I stopped as much as I used to, but yeah. So I used to be a lot more involved with it. When I was in college, the reason why college I was so invested and I was almost borderline obsessed was because I was at an incredibly liberal college and I was born and raised Republican. And, college is when I started to finally be challenged in that, right? I'm from the South, so I was never really challenged before on my viewpoints. And so I started to be challenged. And so I think as a way to cope with it, I just had to become like uber political. I'd become the uber person, right? I was this huge John McCain supporter. And now, of course, I look back on that time in my life and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking, right? I look back at people like Ron Paul and I'm like, that dude was way before his time in so many different ways, right? And of course, now I'm politically independent, but it's just interesting that I got really involved in politics because I was just so inundated with roommates and with the college that I went to in general, just being so uber left, like crazy left. Not like, oh, I'm a Democrat or, I have these specific issues, but like uber left, like really bad. So I think it was just this natural reaction that I had to just, try and push away from it. And the way I did that was by acting in the opposite direction of that. So, yeah. Alex Garth says, I agree with you on SmackDown. I have a slight glimmer of hope on Raw. I have lost all hope altogether. I'm done with it. Glinzer says, it's now woke wrestling entertainment. We're talking about wrestling, like WWE wrestling. As I said, I have not been following it, so I wouldn't know regardless. But AEW has definitely tried to poke the political bear a couple of times, mostly with them having and defending their current champion. Nyla Rose, I'm sorry, no matter what you do, you're a dude. I'm sorry, your chromosomes make that very clear. I don't buy into this I can be whatever I call myself nonsense, right? I'm not going to go out of my way to go up to your face and yell in your face and be rude like that, right? I'm not that kind of person. But if you're going to ask me to accept something that is biologically not true, no, not going to happen. It's so funny, too, that the party of science, right, the party of science denies basic truths like chromosomes and also the ability to have life in the womb. Isn't it interesting? Now I'm sure I'm going to get demonetized because I'm talking about this kind of stuff. Can't have that happen, right? Can't have that happen. Father Christopher Miller says, the Dell 17.3-inch gaming laptop. Father, what are you doing with a gaming laptop? Intel Core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, terabyte hard drive with 256 gig SSD, going to start doing history videos. Dude, Father, that's a great system. That is an excellent system. You're going to have a great time editing video on that system. I actually have one of my travel computers is, I think, very similarly spec'd to that. That's a great system for doing some video editing on. Just make sure you're not going to want to use the internal camera on that, and you might want to get a different microphone. So what I recommend, start off with a USB microphone. They tend to be a little bit on the cheaper side, and they give pretty good quality. I obviously use the Snowball. A lot of people tend to use the Snowball as their first one, but there's a lot of other really good options out there. And then for your camera, I don't think you can go wrong with the one that I'm using right now, which is the Logitech 920. It is pretty much the standard that is used by a lot of people. Don't go for the Brio quite yet. The Brio, all that can really do is 4K content. And that's pretty much it. It's 4K content at a wider view. And I don't think you really need that for anything, at least starting off. But yeah, definitely invest in a better microphone because the internal microphones on any laptop, no matter how much you pay for it, are going to be crap. And the internal cameras on any laptop, no matter how much you pay for it, are going to be crap as well. But that is a fantastic laptop to start doing some content creation on, though. That's for sure. Alex McCarthy says, yes, AEW is almost the way, except the dude women's champ. Exactly, Alex. Seriously. And that's why it's like I love watching it. And then all of a sudden they do any angle with Nyla Rose. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Stop having this dude beat up women. I know luckily this is scripted, luckily this is staged, so I don't have to really have too much actual physical concern. But here's the thing. If a woman messes up, right? If a woman, makes a mistake in the ring against another woman, it's going to be whatever it is. If a guy, and Nyla Rose, the size of a guy, because guess what? He is still a guy, chromosomally speaking, makes a mistake, someone could get really hurt. Because of muscle mass differences, because of so many other differences. And I think it's dangerous for them to do so. I really do. I even if it's staged, it is dangerous because a mistake made, right? If I was in a fight, right? If I was in a boxing match or a staged boxing match with someone and it was another guy and I made a mistake, well then, okay, if we're built the same way, like, if we have very similar builds, very similar styles, hey, we'll be okay. But if I get into the ring with someone, staged fight, and it's someone that is of a completely different gender than me and has very different muscle mass than me, very different technical skills than I do, then guess what? If I make a mistake, it's going to have a lot more of an impact. In fact, the last match that Nyla was in, someone got cut open. Someone started bleeding. So just going to say it. Peter Sharon, thank you very much for subscribing to the secondary channel. Welcome to Asgard. Gannison Elite Troll says, how are you? I'm doing fine, Gannison. Hope you are doing fine as well. I know that you're in a different part of the world, so please stay safe during the whole coronavirus thing. Hopefully everything is going fine where you are, and hopefully no one in your town, or sorry, no one in your area is sick. So hope everything is going okay. Soulsass says, I think Gargoyles was made because of the Batman show, and have you ever heard of a Wild and Crazy Kids? Yes, Wild and Crazy Kids. Love that show when I was younger. And yeah, Gargoyles was, I think, a great show. And yeah, very similar. I would say it's very similar to Batman. Mr. Peabody says, just on YouTube because of slow internet. If I open DLive, we are going to crash. Well, that's okay. There's only 2 people watching on DLive tonight anyway, probably because it's OMB Open Forum, and for some reason, people love titles, and the algorithm just doesn't reward very bland titles. But you know what? That's fine. I'm actually okay with that because it means that on both on YouTube and on DLive, we're going to have the core people. We're going to have the people that are paying attention saying, oh, I'm ready at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays and Tuesdays. There's no one else I'm going to watch, right? So it's going to be a lot more of an intimate affair is what I would say. The member, the Lonely Cynic, Laura. How's it going, Laura? Hope you're doing just fine. Gannison says, Transformers, G1, and Thundercats are my favorite show. Very, very good options. G-Monkey says, mine was Dukes of Hazzard. 69 Dodge Charger and Daisy Duke helped shape my formative years. I'm such a toxic white male. Sorry, everyone. G-Monkey, that is so toxic of you. So toxic of you. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you be so toxic? Gannison says, the politics of my country is going down the drain. Oh, no. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very, very, very sorry to hear that indeed. Let us see, where are we? Alex McCarthy says, you left last night before Gary saw that Fern Gary I tweeted. Fern Gary? What do you mean, Fern Gary? I don't think I remember the Fern Gary. John Early says, I've heard people say Iron Man 3 is pretty much Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because they were both directed by Shane Black. That's not true. They're 2 very different movies. You could say they have a similar tone because guess what? Yeah, it's directed by the same dude. It's directed by the same guy. And directors usually have similar tones throughout their movies. So, yeah, as far as an actual plot, hell no. Whoever told you that's an idiot. Hybrid says, 20 years later, Ki Woo is alone. His mom passed away, still has hope for his father, but Park Da-song, the rich son, tries to assassinate him. Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. Context here. All right, anyway. So Ki Woo is alone. Mom's passed away, still has hope for the father, but the rich son tries to assassinate him for the revenge of something. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's going to be too much, man. I'm not going to be able to follow that at all. Slicer Neon says, some Yahoot literally just replied to a year-old comment I made saying I don't have the right to criticize The Last Jedi. You know what's amazing is that every now and then, people will make comments on videos that I've made like 6 months, 7 months ago, and they'll make comments like as if I'm still talking about that issue. And they'll say, oh my gosh, why are you obsessed? And it's like, I made that video 6 months ago. What do you mean? Have you seen what I've been talking about lately? It's like, man, come on. Gannison says, I'm still waiting for Hot Toys Alita. Hyperin says, DeSong sympathizes with the person. Team up to use Morse code skills to find the father, who's a fugitive, to try avoid getting him caught. And again, the reason why that's going to drive me crazy, dude, is because there's other comments that are in between those comments. If they were all nicely next to each other, it'd be fine, but you're driving me nuts, man. Bruce says, Doc Ido did a video about it. I emailed you the link. Yeah, I haven't watched the whole video yet. I saw the video itself. I saw the title of the video, but I have not watched the video itself. Let's see. Laura, the Lonely Cynic says, I was religious conservative, then went hardcore liberal. Now I'm centrist, but a cynical one. And there's nothing wrong with being a cynical person or a cynical centrist. That's where I feel like it's like that happy medium. You know, it's nice and warm in the middle. You know, you're not on one crazy side or the other. I believe in common sense. Common sense is where it's at. How dare you? Gannison, are there any good movies coming out this year? Yes, I would argue that some of my favorite films looking out looking out to coming out this year would be Top Gun 2, definitely at the top of my list. Dune, I think, could be very good. I love Denis Villeneuve. Again, has always been a big fan of his. I know there's a lot of controversy and questions about casting and the characters, but I've never been attached to Dune, so I don't have as much of a reaction to it as normal. If when I watch it, realize that there's some, agenda stuff going on in there, okay. But until then, I trust Denis Villeneuve to give me a great film, and he has not really failed me on that one yet. Every film that I've seen from his has been fantastic. Glinzer says, biggest WWE hypocrisy, men can't hit women, but women can hit men. Glinzer, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. And that's been one of the biggest issues that I've had with it is like, okay, wait, you can allow for, what's her name, who used to be with Andrade or is still with Andrade? I'm still unsure because I really just stopped caring about the main show. But she can do hurricanranas on whoever she wants. But, it's still, but that's also a cultural thing too, right? If a woman hits a man, people usually don't take it as seriously as if it's the reverse. And if we're going to live in a fair society, if we're going to believe in true equality, it doesn't matter or shouldn't matter what the gender of the person hitting the other person is, right? If it's violence, it should be called violence. If it's a crime, it should be called a crime. And whatever the punishment for that crime is should be equal across the board. Now, we can argue saying that men are more likely to be the aggressor, but guess what? That means that you have to acknowledge hormonal differences. You have to acknowledge physical differences. And that's where certain people don't feel comfortable anymore because they have to then acknowledge that biology exists and that there are biological truths that exist as well. Duarte Hobbit says, happy leap year. It is leap day. You are very, very correct. You are very correct. I like your leapfrog. I like the leapfrog you used in the chat. It's very, very cute. It is so very, very, very cute. Let us see here. Jace Doe says, yo, Odin, what's up? Speaking of which, Jace Doe just sent me a whole new batch of digital codes. So I'm going to try and put a new digital code giveaway up in the Discord for my Patreon peeps and also over on Subscribestar. There's a couple people, I think, or one or two people that won the last one that just never checked back. But yeah, whenever there's giveaways, just always make sure you keep up on those because unfortunately for Subscribestar, it's harder because Discord, it's easier to get notifications on. Subscribestar is still very much trying to be Patreon and not quite getting there. It still has a lot of issues to work out, but people want an alternative, so I gave people an alternative to Patreon. And unfortunately, though, it's leaving a lot of things that, like notifications being a big one, unfulfilled or problematic. So I am very sorry if you are dealing with those issues. But anyway, Jay Stowe, thank you very much for sending me more codes. It says, yo, Odin, what's up? What are your thoughts on the XFL? For me, the way it is going this time around, it looks very good. Hope they become a nice developmental league for the NFL. And I think they will. I've only seen about maybe 3 or 4 games, maybe not the entire way through, but like 75% of the way through. And I liked a lot of what I saw. I love the kickoff. To be honest, I think the kickoff is great. Definitely keeps the players' safety in mind. I don't like the interviews. Some people are loving those, but I don't like how, unless it's for comedy's sake, you just see a person, like one of the reporters, running up to someone. For example, there was that kicker who during the first or second week, missed a field goal. And then someone's running up to him, putting a microphone in his face saying, what do you feel about this? And some people like getting that instant reaction. For me, it just makes it more chaotic and kind of just makes it very distracting. The biggest issue I have with the XFL, though, right? So that I can, have or have not. I'm not really that impacted by it. But the one thing that bothers me to no end is just all of the conversation we get between plays. Because now we get to actually hear the coaches read the plays out to the QB. We get to hear almost everything being said. But at the same time, we're still getting commentary from the commentators on the game. And sometimes those overlap, and the overlapping of those two drives me crazy because part of me is like, okay, if I want to listen to if the point is to listen to what the play is, let me listen to that. But if that is not important, then why are you playing it in the first place, right? So that's like my biggest issue so far is having just that constant audio noise. It drives me insane. Zine Water says Gargoyles was good. I wrote a whole Twitter rant about how we don't have deep cartoon shows anymore. Anyone else miss X-Men, Batman, Gargoyles, Batman Beyond, etc.? Yeah, I think you would be right about that. We don't have a lot of, I would say we don't have a lot of deep shows anymore. Not even just in animation, but just in general. Just in general. Dora the Hobbit says, do you pay a membership fee to be a Geeks and Gamer member? Luckily not, no. Luckily, the contracts we like to joke about, it's just a joke. We basically are freelancers, right? So I am a part of the Geeks and Gamers team, but it is all basically freelance work. You know, we help out each other in the end. And I'm hoping that one day we can get everything big enough to where it can become more than just freelance, to have maybe even a contract. But as of now, that's not the case, and it's nice that way. It's nice that way. We all have our own independent freedom. We have our own independent channels, but at the same time, we're also part of a larger group, so it ends up helping out in the long run. Alice McCarthy says, female Gary. Oh, female Gary. Okay. Gotcha. Now that makes more sense. Female Gary makes a lot more sense than Fern Gully Gary, which is what I thought you were going with. Gannison says, TQ the COVID-19. Okay, so the coronavirus is contained in my country, but Singapore got 80 people. Hope it won't spread more here. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's contained in your country, man. I'm praying for you and for your safety and for everyone's safety, especially in those areas that are, very heavily impacted, especially for Italy right now. Italy has a crazy number of cases, and now there's a lot of scaring going on because the Pope has had to cancel a lot of events over the last few days because of illness. And that was after him recently been out in Italy shaking hands with a lot of people that were visiting. So really hoping that everything's okay there. But yeah, it's been crazy. Hybrid X13, thanks for at least reading my idea, Odin. I try to have them in context, but I went on too long. It's all good, man. And I think that your idea would be good, right? To have those characters interact in that way, to then work together. But it's going to be interesting because apparently they are working on a show for HBO, and it's supposed to not be the events of the movie, but events either before or after the movie. So I think that it could be good. I think that could be a storyline that they end up going. But to be honest, I kind of like the open-endedness of Parasite. I kind of like the open-endedness where you don't really know what's going to happen to the characters. You don't really know what the end result's going to be, but I like it. I like it a lot. Parasite was one of my favorite films of the year. Let's see. Member Alex McCarthy says, is Jesse going to make a surprise role appearance on here? Oh, I see. Surprise robe appearance? Well, seeing that I'm still up in Tennessee, no. Unfortunately, at least from my perspective, there wasn't a lot of, I had no idea that everyone was going to Florida. I knew that, like, Rosetta Allen, right? So member of the channel here, I know that she was going down to Florida for a fan event, but I had no idea that this was a bigger fan event where members of the Geeks and Gamers channel were going to be all going down together, because I'm not that far away. I mean, it's still going to be like a 6-hour drive or so, but that's still within reason for me to do in a day. But had I known that we were going to have these many people down in that area, I'm assuming for Pensacon, I'm assuming that's what's going on right now. Unless it's something else, I wish I would have known a little more about it so that I could have gone. I feel slightly left out, but that's okay. That's okay. And then next year, of course, Star Wars Celebration is when the school year's already started, so I'll probably be left out of that too, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying. You're crying. HyperX13 says, nonetheless, I wouldn't want a sequel to Parasite, but if they were to ever make one, that was my idea for a story. And well, again, we are getting some furthering of the story with the TV series, and I'm definitely hesitant, right? I'm optimistic because I think Bong Joon-ho is still supposed to be a part of the project on HBO, but yeah, definitely still going to be something to look into and to be slightly concerned about because it's a perfect contained story, in my opinion. Let's see. Phonemo says, I don't understand why Disney, this is over on DLive, don't understand why Disney doesn't just bring in Laura from Logan movie instead of recasting Logan. What are your thoughts? You know what? I don't think that's a terrible idea. Keep the same actress who's now grown up a bit, so an older teenager now, to come in to play a different character, yeah, I think that could work. However, with the people currently running Marvel, running things over there and seemingly trying to push a certain direction over there too, it does concern me a little bit because it makes me think that we're in the process of falling into a very politically woke future. And I think that they would try and use the character of Laura from the movie Logan in a politicized way. Because remember how the big rumor going around, it's not been substantiated, but the rumor is, Captain Marvel 2 is going to feature Wolverine, and that's how they're going to bring in the audiences for it, right? They're going to do something to bring in audiences for Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel cannot stand on her own. Anyone that says, talk to the $1+ billion it made, yeah, it came out right before Endgame. And the normie audience was I underestimated the normie audience tremendously because of that. Because they were like, a film before Endgame, I guess I have to see that now. And then, of course, we had Captain Marvel, which was terrible, and then Endgame, which for me was terrible, and here we are. So they're going to have to do something big to get people to go see that movie. And you know what? Saying the first official Marvel appearance of Wolverine could be a big thing. But yeah, I think that I would rather them use that character than quickly recast Wolverine and end up messing that up in the long run. Especially since some people are speculating that they would make Captain Marvel beat Wolverine, and that's something I just, nope, no thank you. Let us not have that, please. Yeah, let's not have that happen. Member Nitrium says, yes, Indiana Jones is just like Schindler's List because the same director. That's basically what's being said. Like, that's basically what that comment is. It's so ridiculous that someone would actually say that, right? Like, the movie's the same because the same person directed it. Well, similar themes, okay, but to say it's the same movie, that's redundant. That's ludicrous is what that is. But you're right, Indiana Jones is just like Schindler's List. Let's see. Zine Waters about men hitting women hypocrisy. Zine says, I was watching riff tracks and the commentators booed when the protagonist shot a woman, but he'd been gunning down men the whole show. Wow. Now, I'm wondering if they were doing that for jokes or for seriousness, because again, since I haven't seen it with my own eyes and ears, I can't really speak to it. John Early says, Jeremy Johns once said the end credits scene of Loki pretending to be Odin in the Dark World was set up to be a big deal, but in Ragnarok, it was dealt with rather quickly. Okay, that last part didn't make a whole lot of sense. Once again, the randomness continues, but thank you for the comment, good sir. I really have nothing to say about that. Sasha Neon says, Happy Leap Day. You get any of those off Valentine chocolates with mystery filling this year? Nope. Nope. Luckily, the wife and I both do not recognize Valentine's Day. It's ridiculous. Gannison says, will Captain Marvel 2 be a hit for Disney? And Mulan remake is going to suck for what Disney just did. Yeah. I am definitely thinking here's the thing with Mulan. They were banking on that movie being a giant hit in China. That's what they were wanting. And with coronavirus and everything else going on, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. On top of that, the long-range tracking for Mulan, last time I checked, was not that impressive, talking for the domestic marketplace. Let me see if I can find it. So let's see, the long-range tracking. I go to Box Office Pro for my long-range tracking. So let us see if they have it. So Mulan, for opening weekend, this is the opening weekend for Mulan domestically. So U.S., Canada, Mexico. 48 million. They expect it to make 48 million domestically. That's not good for a big budget Disney blockbuster based off of an animated movie that was very popular, still very popular. 48 million domestically is terrible. And then the overall, like the total domestic number they expect it to make by the end of its run domestically, 138 million. You ain't reaching $1 billion on that from the domestic marketplace. So they are totally going in on that movie being a huge hit overseas. They expect that movie to make most of its money overseas. And if the coronavirus has anything to do with it, Mulan could end up being a big bust for Disney. Now, do we know that for sure? No, because a lot can happen between now and March 27th, right? We're still almost a full month away. So a lot can happen with the coronavirus, a lot can happen with the marketing campaign, but it is already not expected to be a a big hit here in the domestic marketplace. So, yeah, I think that I think that Mulan is not going to do well, Gannison, for them overall. And Captain Marvel 2, could it be a hit? Depends on who they put in it, because they can put a lot of people in there that will bring audiences in. But yeah, oh, look at that. Yes, John Forge, thank you very much for becoming a member. As you can see, you get the cute gift. There's River right there. Thank you for becoming a member. When you become a member, this little gift pops up, little River. Yeah, she's being all cute. Thank you very much for becoming a member, though. John Forge, you are a legend, good sir, and thank you for joining at the Citizen of Asgard level. Now you get access to a lot of fun little images and gifts. The gifts are supposed to work. For some reason, they're not. YouTube, what's going on with that? I don't quite know, but thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it very much. Captain Dean Heiss is celebrating a 5-month sub streak, so thank you very much, Captain Dean Heiss. Let us see. Peabody is now over on DLive. Captain Mr. Roy is over on DLive as well. Mr. Peabody says, internet's better. It's Sunday morning. Parents must have woken up and kicked their kids off the computers, freed up the servers. Well, I'm very glad to hear that, good sir. Very, very glad to hear that. Let's see here. So my friend John Flickinger is texting me right now. Says, FYI, I heard if you say coronavirus in your YouTube vids too much, they lose ad revenue. Well, this live stream is probably already going to be demonetized. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But thank you for the feedback, good sir. I appreciate it. Slicer Neon says, will New Mulan be worse requel? Oh, I see what you're doing there, Slicer. That's offensive. That's offensive. Will the new Mulan be worse sequel than the new Lion King or the new Aladdin? It looks like, to be honest, based on trailers, it seems to have potential. The problem is that it's not the Mulan that I grew up with. Right now, people can argue saying, well, yeah, because it's more of the traditional story of Mulan and not what Disney ended up doing with it in the 90s. But I grew up with the musical version, with Mushu and with all the other stuff that they had in it, including the romance. But you can't have the romance between the officer and the soldier these days. So stupid that they're changing that. But yeah, I think that not necessarily that's going to be worse, but I don't think. So let's see. Aladdin itself made over $1 billion. Lion King made like $1.5 billion, which is ridiculous. Like, seriously, people, really? You want to go see Lion King live action when you could have just watched it for nothing on your VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or whatever? Wait for Disney Plus to come out so you could watch it for free, essentially, with the membership. Yeah, so I think that as a movie, it might be better, but as a box office sensation, based on the numbers that I just read, I don't think it's looking good. I don't think it's looking good at all, my friend. Rob D says, is it just me, or is it kind of dropping off at the box office? You think it's because of China and the coronavirus? I think for sure. I think the box office is definitely getting hit because think about it. China is usually a giant source of income for a lot of movies. And they shut down, last time I heard, around 70,000 theaters in the country. So, yeah, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big drop-off overall. Let me see. Let me get an update right now. Let's see. How's that little primary going? Are there any delegates yet? Sorry. Let's go ahead and see if I can pull this up right now. Only 3% reporting. Only 3% reporting, and they already recorded a winner. That's fun right there. That's fun. But Joe Biden getting 51%. He's back in it, everybody. Ooh, sleepy Joe Biden's coming back in. He's going to take the whole thing now. Can't wait for that. Let's see. But yeah, Rob D, I think that absolutely you'll see that the international box office numbers are going to be affected by it tremendously. HyperX13, some news from Skynet News Australia is pretty great. They're against political correctness and woke agendas. I was surprised considering they cover world news. Huh? What? What was the context there? Bruce says, what do you think of the BS ban Twitter did to Anna, that Star Wars girl? It's freaking ridiculous, man. So she was joking about a friend and got banned on Twitter for the joke. What? What are you talking about, right? Like, she was joking with a friend, and she got banned because of the joke. even though when you actually read the terms and conditions that it's said to have violated, it obviously didn't violate any of those things. Like, that's just so freaking ridiculous, man. And then Rob D, just to add to it, his earlier comment about Sonic, is Sonic dropping off at the box office? Well, Sonic is still doing quite well last time I checked. The numbers are still doing very strong. It's definitely going to be hurt because it's not getting a China release. Right now, it's at $212 million at the box office. I suspect that number will jump up to 240, 250 by the end of this weekend. Could be even higher than that. And I think that will put it over the edge to make the film profitable. But yeah, if it gets a delayed release and gets released later in the year in China, then I think that it'll make even more money. So we'll have to wait and see. 70 B says, sorry, I missed your Friday Night Tights appearance. Mea culpa. It's all good, Stephanie B. No problem at all. No problem at all. John Early, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, listen and understand that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel remorse or pity or fear. It's a quote from Terminator. Thank you very much for that quote, good sir. Let us see. Going back to the D Live just in case. Just in cases. Did Gary own a comic? Did female Gary own a comic shop? It's ma'am. Is my answer to that. HyperNext13, wholeheartedly agree. Odin, it's hard to top Parasite as a whole, especially after that ending. I'm curious how the TV show will handle the connecting dots. Well, again, if Bong Joon-ho is attached to it and has full creative control over it, I think he'll find an interesting way to do it. Alex Riley says, oh, Odin, you still have us. It's okay, Alex. It's okay. It's okay. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to keep the Bifrost open for all of you. Gannison says, have you played Doom? Doom Eternal's coming out. You should try it if you love being a demon-killing badass. I've never played Doom before in my life. There's still games that I need to play from the PS3 purchase that I had, like, was it Zero Event Horizon or Zero Dawn Horizon or whatever it's called. The Last of Us need to play as well. I want to get back to playing my Spider-Man game because Spider-Man game was awesome on PS4. And then I also need to pick up again Battlefront 2 because there have been some updates. G-Monkey76 says, Jeremy can't handle you being a good Christian. I don't know how many Hail Marys you'd have to do if you were with him. Oh, trust me, there have been many a Hail Marys and our fathers said on their behalf. Let's just say that is what has happened and what has gone on there. Let's see. All righty. Jump over to D-Lab. Mr. Peabody says, I have seen Bernie a lot, and obviously his mother never taught him it was rude to point. Phonemo, what is your style of teaching religion, such as do you ask more questions than lecture? No, mostly lecture style, and I allow the students to ask questions, so we talk about a lot of issues, and I basically leave it as mostly an open forum. As long as it's related to the topic, they can ask the question. And if there's time at the end of a class, I'll let them ask other religion-related topics that are, even if they're not directly relevant to the discussion overall. But yeah, I'm mostly a lecture-based guy. I do PowerPoints, PowerPoint-led lectures. And then every now and then we'll do journals where we'll have discussions about various topics. And we start off the year with moral theology for the juniors. And moral theology is definitely a lot more discussion-based because you deal with a lot of, hot topic moral issues. Right now we're doing the sacraments, and the sacraments is really not a whole lot of discussion in those. Obviously, until we get to why is there an all-male priesthood in the Catholic Church, and things like, why is marriage between a man and a woman in the eyes of the Catholic Church, right? That is where we get more discussion. That is where we get a lot more people with, very passionate ideas, passionate thoughts, and it's where things get a lot more interesting, at least for the sacraments portion. Let us see. Captain Wingster says, don't ever underestimate the normies, Odin. That's why the gaming industry is crap now. Very true. Soul Assassin, but shouldn't Wolverine be with Captain America instead of Captain Marvel sequel if they bring him back? Logically, that would make a lot more sense, but you know them. They don't really care much about logic these days. Rob D says, we all underestimated the normie audience for Captain Marvel, and as much as I think Eternals will underperform, it will probably be another hit because Marvel. And I'm hoping that it won't be, though. I'm hoping that because it's more of an obscure title And because they seem to be going very clearly woke with it, that it's not going to end up. So basically, I would like to think of it as Guardians of the Galaxy, right? No one really knew a whole lot about Guardians of the Galaxy. The movie came out. It was fantastic. Word of mouth campaign made that film the giant success that it was. I don't think you're going to see that same thing happen with Eternals. Unless, of course, it's a fantastic, groundbreaking film, which just based on everything that I'm hearing about it so far, I'm not really getting. Celebrity Jeremy, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, says, keep up the good work, Odin. Well, Celebrity Jeremy, thank you very much, man, for those kind words, and thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're awesome. D-Man, what's going on, D-Man? Says, do you think the Spider-Man movies will ever let him grow up being past a teenager? While it's under Sony, no. While it's under Marvel, probably not either. I think you would need another company to come in to do that, unless they decided to make a film that was a one-off of older Spider-Man. Alice McCarthy says, if Wolverine is in Captain Marvel 2, and Wolverine is an X-Men, Rogue is an X-Men, Rogue took Carol Danvers' powers. Wishful thinking. Yeah, Alex McCarthy, that's the only thing that had any seemingly any interest with that addition is if Wolverine's in there and they're bringing the X-Men in and they decide to bring the X-Men in to Captain Marvel for some reason, wherever they would do that for. If the reason is to bring in Rogue to steal her powers, well then guess what? That makes sense, right? Because there's already a comic storyline that deals with that very thing, and nothing would make me feel happier than for her to lose her powers and get beat up somehow. That'd be great. John Early says, did you see the Supergirl episode that took the basic story of It's a Wonderful Life? No, because I don't watch Supergirl. That should be very obvious at this point. I don't watch the CW shows. I used to watch Arrow, and I used to watch Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow I watched a little bit too. But yeah, I watched Supergirl for like the first season. I tried to watch second season, and it was just so bad. So, no, screw that show, man. Alice McCarthy, no Mushu or Captain Shang in Mulan, not even going to give it a watch on Duck Disney Plus. Guess what? Also, Alice McCarthy, no songs, no music. It's going to be a non-musical version without Mushu and without the Captain and the love interest. Okay. Hybrid says, that would be cool, wouldn't it? For a Parasite sequel, Kiwoo and Park Da-sung would be like Korean version of Joker and Batman teaming up. That would be a pretty cool team up, for sure. And I did say Captain Marvel too at one point. Sizer Neon says, you hear anything to validate rumors that the Pope has C-19? So I don't think that's true at all. All I know is that he's sick. So we do know that he's sick. He's canceling events, and it's been confirmed that he has an illness. We don't know exactly how rough it is. He's supposed to be traveling starting, I guess, today, technically, whatever time it is in Rome. On Sunday, he's supposed to leave to go somewhere. So if that gets canceled, then I could definitely see them doing something. I could definitely see them possibly announcing that it's more serious, but no word has been validated at all that he has the coronavirus at this point. He's sick, but that's about it. John Forge, who recently became a new member to the channel, thank you very much for the super chat, says, I hope an Alita 2 comes. Me too. The problem, of course, being, though, it would be under the Disney brand because James Cameron obviously has a very strong connection now with Disney. Fox, 20th Century Fox, did the first Alita movie, which is now under the Disney brand. They now own, basically, think of it as they own the distribution rights to the movie. The IP is still owned by James Cameron, so he could technically take the story wherever he wants. But since they're funding his giant Avatar project, there's no reason for him to leave Disney. So it's really up to Disney at this point. And that's the scary thing because I don't want a Alita movie under Disney's regime, but that might be what we have to get, sadly. Captain Mr. Roy over on DLive, thank you very much for dropping the 3 diamond donations. Thank you very much. As you put the gif of me dancing, yes, I'll dance for you, Mr. Roy, Captain Mr. Roy. Thank you very much for that, good sir. Thank you for the 3 diamonds. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much, good sir. Gannison says, SJW's tried to attack Doom Guy and saying killing demons is offensive. Like WTF, killing demons is offensive? How are killing demons offensive? oh, well, because there's certain religions that believe that demons are good, and so therefore it's offensive to that religion. Really? Really? So you're saying that if they made a game where you were killing, Christians, you would have a problem with that? Probably not. I imagine those same people would say, well, I don't see what the problem is. Creative freedom. It's only creative freedom until you cross the wrong intersectional group, as they say. Zion Water says, but you don't like when they just remake the animated films, so why do you not like it when they change Mulan to be closer to the base material? It's a very good question, and basically it comes down to this, because it's a remake regardless, right? It's a remake of the story of Mulan. They're trying to tug on the heartstrings with just the name recognition alone of people like me that grew up with the 90s version. They're not revealing anything officially about Mushu or about anything else. That's stuff that only if you pay attention to the news, you're going to know about. So they're expecting, this is the reason why I have a problem with it, because they're expecting normies, and many normies are idiots when it comes to just following movie news, right? I'm not saying that they're stupid. I'm just saying that they blindly follow the product, right? They're going to say, ooh, there's a new movie. Oh, it's a live action Mulan film. I'm interested. And then they're going to go and they're going to expect the songs. They're going to expect the same story. And then it's going to be very different. And then they're going to feel betrayed by that fact. And I think that might be one of the reasons why it's not tracking nearly as well, is because so far the movies haven't shown any music. And that seems to indicate to people that have brains, oh, there must not be any music. And then a quick Google search will show you, oh, there isn't any music then. Yeah. So that's my thought on that. I understand where you're coming from, though, but my biggest reason why I have an issue is because they are still trying to bank on the name recognition of the old classic 90s cartoon. And even though they're trying to be more accurate, I don't like them for doing that. Mr. Peabody says, regardless of age, if you touch that many people, you're gonna pick something up in regards to the Pope. Yeah, absolutely. The fact that he shakes hands all the time, he's not always rubbing his hands with hand sanitizer in front of the people, right? I'm sure as soon as he gets in to the Pope Mobile or goes back to wherever he was sitting, they got the hand sanitizer ready for him. But hand sanitizer can only take care of so many things, right? It kills bacteria. It doesn't kill a lot of other things that he might catch. But yeah, he's bound to get something. So that's why I think a lot of people are starting to see, oh, he's sick. And because coronavirus is very populous right now and is very widespread in Italy, they're just assuming that he has it, but there really is no proof of it at this point. Mike the Monk, thank you for following over on DLive. Appreciate it. Member Alex McCarthy says, I mean, if they live action remake something, remake it to a T, even though they're pointless cash grabs. Agreed, right? So if you're going to try and get the people in, well, then give the people what they want, which is going to be Mushu and songs, right? Seriously, think about it. They had a chance to bring in freaking Eddie Murphy again to voice Mushu and to bring in songs and to also, even with all of that, make it a more accurate story. They could have done all of it together. And instead, I feel like they're tricking a lot of people. It's just my thought. Slicer Neon says, requel, i.e. bad reboot, is offensive. I thought I was being clever inventing a term, not to be confused with requels like Woke Fate, Woke Buster 2016, and Judge. So Slicer Neons, I thought you were doing something else. Apparently, I was mistaken, and so I apologize. I thought you were trying to put R's on everything. And that's why I joked about that. But no, there's nothing wrong. I thought you, so had you put requel, then I would have understood what you were saying. But alrighty. Let's see. Hoprin had the last comment before things skipped. Let's see. All right. Hi, Predictor Teen Context. I was just sharing something random about Skynet News from Australia. It's pretty legit in terms of covering world news. No political correctness or woke agenda. So you're just making a comment about the news coverage there. Okay, gotcha. But still, what is that? What is that? John Early, The Legend of Zelda is a hard game to play without a map or Nintendo Power. Which version? There's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Like, what version? And again, John, I feel like your brain's all over the place. You're always moving topics. You're never following up on anything. It's always random. Again, it's open forum, so it's a moment for it, but just a comment. Again, as it says, Doom is heavy metal. Heavy metal, really? That sounds like fun. He then says, don't forget to play Witcher 3. Probably won't play Witcher 3 or any Witcher games for that matter. Not because of the story. I mean, I love the Witcher story from Netflix. But seeing that the nudity, which I had a problem with in the Witcher series, is an homage to the nudity that's in the games, probably will not. Sajid then says, Horizon Zero Dawn is epic. Great female protagonist who is superior to Rey in every way. Also, giant robots. That's what I've heard. I've heard it's fantastic, so I definitely want to play that at some point. Alice McCarthy says, before this stream, Ryan and Krista were playing Battlefront 2 on Gaming with Geeks. Ryan squeaked when he got to be an Ewok. Dude, that ticks me off. Because I have asked to play with Krista countless times, and now she can play with Ryan. I'm assuming it's because Ryan was playing Ryan was the one streaming, and Krista wasn't just streaming through her PS4, because that's, I think, when the issue comes in with crashing. But still, it's the principle of the thing. They didn't invite me. I could have played. Let's die. Super Anime Gamer says, hello there. Sorry I'm late. Forgot today was Saturday since I was homesick yesterday. How is everyone? Doing fine. Super. Hope you're doing well. It's a very random stream since it is open forum, as it tends to be. But thank you for being here. Thank you. Mike Monk says, watch Parasite, didn't deserve the Oscar. I disagree. I think that it is one of the best films of the year. I still think Joker's better. But my number 1 and 2 films between Parasite and Joker definitely go back and forth. It's definitely a film that deserves its nomination for sure. Peabody says, you are right. Hand sanitizer will not kill or remove a virus. Better off with soap and water. Boom. Exactly right, good sir. Exactly right. Bruce says, isn't the Eternals going to have a male-male relationship within the main cast up front and in our faces? That's what the rumors say. And even though the comics versions of the characters don't have that. And that's the problem with it, right? If it's in the comics and they're adapting it, okay, fine. I can have issues with it for for other reasons. But if you're going to just be like, oh, we're changing the characters for political gains, please don't. Please just don't do that. Dean Approve says, what's the most obscure DC character you'd want a film for that they'll never make? Oh, so it's not really an obscure character. However, it is a character that I always get laughed at for suggesting. I want a rated R version of Clayface. That's what I want. One of my favorite episodes of Batman the Animated Series was the origin story of Clayface. I would love a rated R version of Clayface because you could have half the movie or even 3/4 of the movie be just about the actor, getting into trouble, getting in with the mob, getting in with all the, the behind the scenes crap that he's getting into before he's transformed into the Clayface monster. Right? Have that build up last for a long time. And then at the very end, it's Clayface. He's doing carnage. You put some money behind it. So there's at least some decent CGI, or even better, you get the same crew that did the costume working for Swamp Thing and get them to make an actual practical effects level suit and just have him wreak havoc. That'd be awesome. I would love that. So talk about obscure. That's where I would be. Phonemo over on DLive says, have Cronenberg direct the Clayface movie. Holy crap. Oh, talk about dark and dreary. Such Neons, no, Shan Yu is my deal breaker. Great villain with epic screen presence and memorable lines. Same for the Emperor. All the good characters are missing. I'm out. And exactly, Slicer, that's where I feel on it too, right? And again, their argument is, well, technically these characters were not in the original. They were added on later. But again, if that is their argument, then I would still say, okay, then who are you making this for? And I think that's where the Chinese factor comes in, right? It seems like they were making it for them, even though it's in the English language. It's just like, oh, but guess what? It looks like their bet's going to end up costing them, at least with American audiences. HyperNX13, what is your favorite improvisation moment from actors? Examples like Heath Ledger's Joker hospital scene. That's a great one. Love that one a lot. There's always the great reference to, was it Al Pacino, who had to hit a taxi during, was it Midnight Cowboy? So during the filming, a car got through containment. So one of the PAs wasn't doing their job and a car got through. And so he actually almost hit the actor and he had to, and so then he just instantly reacted, hitting the cab. He's like, I'm walking here. That was improv. Great moments. Another one actually would be Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the movie, he hits his hand on the table and he actually cuts his hand open with glass and he still just kept going and it added to it and wrapped it. And he was on Johnny on the spot the entire way. But basically anything with Ryan Reynolds is usually going to have some of the best improvisation stuff in there. Most of the stuff that he does or line-wise is some type of improv. Soul Assassin, what's your opinion on the new Bob ruining Disney? Well, he's just become CEO, so still have to wait on that one to see if he's actually going to destroy Disney or not. But he could. Definitely could. Catherine Wingster says, Odin have an air high five, sir. There you go. You're welcome. You are welcome. Out of step with a member out of step with reality. How are you doing, good sir? HyperX13, it's official. Odin demons are the new trend. Everybody must have a Hellboy child now. Spit on the non-believers. Atui, atui. I spit on you. I spit on you. Gannison, Wonder Woman 84 is looking good, and Robert Pattinson Batman hopes it will be. I hope it will be good. Me too. I have high hopes for Batman, especially, and Wonder Woman 84 so far does look good. I like the visuals for it at the very least. Super says, think they touched on it Friday Night Tights, but just wanted to hear your opinion on James Mangold, Indiana Jones, and The Mandalorian. Personally, don't think they deserve him. Well, apparently there's been some Twitter stuff going on with James Mangold now refuting the news that he's working on The Mandalorian. So apparently that's not true, that he's working on The Mandalorian episodes. It is still rumor speculation that he is going to be the one to take over for Indiana Jones. If he does, I think he'll do a great job. Ford v Ferrari, which was his last film, was fantastic. He's also done Logan, and Logan was fantastic as well. So Robert Mangold's a great director. I just want to know why. Steven, why? Why, Steven Spielberg, would you quit your baby after, 49 years? Member John Forge says, got to go now. Bye, Odin. See you, John Forge. Thank you for becoming a member. Cupcake Geek had the last comment before the chat jumped on me like it normally does. Let's see. Cupcake Geek says, Hi, Odin. Hi, Odin. What's up? Glad I saw you were streaming. Cupcake Geek, glad to have you here. Super Anime Gamer says, completely agree. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, a live-action Mushu would be creepy as hell, though. Yes, but that's a good thing, I think. Cupcake Geek says, what film coming out this year are you most excited for? A top 5? I don't have a top 5 as of yet for this year, but as I've mentioned previously a few times now, I feel like I'm asked that question every stream. Top Gun 2 is at the top of my list, and I'm excited for Dune as well. Matt Curry says, Hail Odin, hail Phantom Menace. Any idea when I can see viewership numbers for Picard? I love to bury some fools on the subject. I am not watching Picard, have no desire to watch it. I would say check out Nerdrotic's channel, Gary Nerdrotic's channel, and maybe try reaching out to him on Twitter. I'm sure if you just Google search ratings for Picard, like ratings numbers for Picard, you might be able to find something. The problem, though, of course, with that is because it's on their streaming platform, that's information that they're not likely going to release. So sadly, we don't really have much except for reviews. Gannison says, gotta go, take care. Gannison, hope you have a wonderful evening. John Early says, you've never had to deal with people with mental illness like autism, have you? Yes, I have. I have had to deal with it before, but normally it manifests itself in a more direct way. So normally it's normally for me it's actually been linear. So there's actually several people with autism that have been subscribers and fans of the channel. And normally they can't let go of a specific subject more so than anything else. And normally it's not just random stream of thought. That's normally not what it is. Hiram says, thoughts on the rumors of Henry Cavill playing Wolverine? Isn't he already busy with The Witcher and Superman? That's why I don't buy into the rumors, because he's a busy dude. Busy dude. It'd be really cool to see it happen, but so far I have my doots. Soul Assassin, you might like the Darksider game series. There are 3 of them, and you play a different horseman in each one. Too many games and too much movies and too much stuff. Can't add any more at this point. Slice of Neons, do a game live stream on your Nintendo so we can toss a coin to your Switcher. Go to Twitch and we can toss another coin to our Twitcher. So I can't stream from my Nintendo because I don't have a capture card to do so. Something to look forward to in the future. But because that's something that I might try to invest in for the summer, I just don't. Basically, I have random moments where I can jump on the PS4 and stream from the PS4 some Battlefront 2, but that's pretty much all I have time for these days. Alice Carly says, yes, we had to look at Ryan. They were probably jealous of the bread. Lethal was playing too. Lethal was playing too? That makes me angry. That frustrates me. That makes me very, very sad. That makes me very, very sad. Rosetta Allen, thank you very much for becoming a member at the Citizen of Asgard level. You should be getting a GIF popping up any second featuring my little precious puppy, River. So thank you for becoming a member so that way I can look at that GIF, hopefully when it pops up at some point. But of course, with Streamlabs these days, everything's so delayed. There it is. There it is. Rosetta Allen, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a blast down in Florida, beginning your worldwide, it seems, journey across the United States. But look at the river. Look at her. Oh, yes. She's like, oh, yes, it feels good. Yeah, I love that GIF. I love that one. So thank you, Rosetta, for allowing me to see that again and for becoming a member at the Citizen of Asgard level. You are awesome. Let us see. Gannison says, you should play Witcher 3. The story is great, and trust me, you won't be disappointed. Yeah, but the nudity, though. Not my thing. Zynewander says, Clayface film, so much of Batman the Animated Series was very dark. We had to grow up tough watching that show. Do you remember when Poison Ivy turned Alfred into a plant statue? Yes! Oh my gosh. Yes, Zine, I do. Wow. Yeah, because, oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've seen the show, but I remember he's going off. It's either he got invited to go to take a, like basically for him to take a vacation, and he goes to it and he meets someone there that I think he like knows from his past or something, and he's enjoying everything, and then all of a sudden all of them start getting turned into plant statues. Yes, it was dark. You're right. It was so good too. G Monkey says, I want a Lobo movie, but it would probably be R-rated because space biker. At first, I thought you were going to say I want a Lobot movie, like from Star Wars. Now that could be a great movie. HyperX13, I'm just happy Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, and Little Women didn't win Best Picture. Those would have been undeserving. Agreed. And I think that you could argue that a couple of those didn't even deserve their nominations. Especially, I saw only half of Marriage Story, and that was enough for me. Let's see. Nano Reaper, thank you for becoming a member at the Citizen of Asgard level. I get to see the puppy again. Yeah! Nano Reaper, look at that. Look at that. Yes, there's the puppy. There's the puppy. She's like, oh, yes, pet the puppy. Odin will pet the doggo. Unlike some other heathens out there, Odin will at least pet his doggo. And there she is. She's so cute. So, Nano Reaper, thank you very much for becoming a member at the Citizen of Asgard level. I appreciate it very much. And we also got a super chat, super chat from Rosetta Allen. Says, can't stick around, just wanted to throw you support. Everyone down here has been amazing to me. Leave for Cali in the morning. Hope you've been having fun down there, Rosetta. Very sad I couldn't be there. I wish I had known so many people were coming, and I would have done my best to make it down for the weekend. But I'm glad you're having fun, and please drive safe. California is pretty far away from where you are right now, so please drive safe. Please drive safe. And Cupcake Geek is actually mentioning a movie that I always forget. This is the reason why I don't like getting asked the question, because I forget movies, and I would say A Quiet Place 2 also on my list of most anticipated, and that's the one that's coming out in March. So that's the most recent, or I would say the more recent film I'm looking forward to that's going to come out. So cannot wait for Quiet Place 2. And Cupcake Geek's question is, have you watched A Quiet Place? Yes, I have. It's fantastic. And yes, I will watch it later this month. I plan to go opening night for that, for sure. Mr. Peabody over on DLAF says, interesting that you said worldwide tour across the United States. Are you missing a few bits of the earth in that tour? You heard me make reference to the fact that it was a silly comment, but yes, worldwide tour across the United States. I stand by that comment. I stand by it. Damn it. Damn it. I'm not a doctor. But thank you for calling me out, Peabody. I appreciate it. Out of Step with Reality, member Out of Step with Reality, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, you the man, Odin. As they say in The Outsiders, stay gold, pony boy. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Out of Step with Reality. You the man. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the words. And no, you stay gold, pony boy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate you. Souls as it says, I heard of rumors of a Bane solo movie in the works. Who would you pick to play him? The Batman one. The Batman one. Oh, okay. So you're trying to. So Batman's Bane, not Darth Bane from Star Wars. Thank you for I mean, I knew who you were talking about. Because that's at least that's what I figured that you were talking about was Bane. It's so sad too because the two versions of Bane that we've gotten in live action have both been funny for different reasons. So, of course, we have the Batman and Robin version of Bane, and that's all he says. He's an idiot, which is sad because he's such a genius in the comics and the show. And then, of course, you have the smarter version, but it's done. But instead you get Bane who talks like this. Oh, what kind of a man shoots a man before throwing him out of a plane? Which just makes me laugh for so many different reasons. But to be honest, I would love to see... I don't have any actors off the top of my head. I would actually kind of like to see Tom Hardy get another shot at it, but not with the stuff that they had him doing in the previous film. Dark Knight Rises has so many problems. It really does. But I would like to see him get another shot at it. That'd be fun. See him in like a more serious Bane movie. That'd be fun. Member Alex McCarthy says, Disney's Into the Bobverse. Yes, indeed. Into the Bobverse. That is where we are going. We're going into the Bobverse, indeed. Let's see. Nano Reaper, do you believe the actress in the live-action version of Mulan siding with the Chi corns over Hong Kong will affect the bottom line, even if coronavirus disperses in China by March 27th. It could. Obviously, if you were aware, if you follow social media and Twitter, there was that huge movement of boycott Mulan because of the reaction of that actress and the support that she gave to us. I think you said that means that she supported the cops, right? She supported the Hong Kong police and not the protesters. So... yeah, I think that could at least affect it in Hong Kong, right? Because keep in mind, Hong Kong is kind of its own animal in as far as in reference to the rest of China. So even if coronavirus just magically somehow dissipates or becomes less of a problem overall, I think that it will at the very least have some struggles making it in Hong Kong. In other areas, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a giant gamble from Disney, and the more and more that the days pass by, just seems like it's not going to pay off well for them. Super Anime Gamer, speaking of Mulan and China's influence on Hollywood, definitely check out the Joe Rogan podcast episode featuring Melissa Chen. It's very interesting. All right, I know Joe Rogan. Who is Melissa Chen? Is that the actress playing Mulan? Who's Melissa Chen? No. I don't know who Melissa Chen is. So I'm assuming that she was making commentary about China? I don't know. Give me some more context later on, please. Herpictus McDurpington, it's been a while since I've seen you in here. Wasn't Mangold already burned by Lucasfilm with them canceling his job with Boba Fett? Yeah. Forgot about that one, right? Because that could have been an awesome film. A James Mangold directed Boba Fett film? Sign me up. So, yeah, I think that's one of the many reasons why Mangold shot that down publicly, that he was supposedly working on The Mandalorian. So we'll see if that turns out to be true or not, but last I heard, Mangold shot that down on social media. Bruce says, for me, Wonder Woman 84 depends on how and why in regards to Steve Trevor return. Will it be believable? Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Bruce, I think that is definitely a fair point. And I think that's definitely a question that we're going to have. I am assuming that it's going to make sense because DC, or at least Patty Jenkins, under the DC banner seems more likely to actually care about that kind of thing. Hardwick says, have you heard about the upcoming superhero movie Bloodshot starring Vin Diesel? It's coming out in March. It's the first movie in a planned universe based on Valiant Comics. I've heard of it. I have no real interest in it. Again, nothing against anybody, just not my cup of tea based on what I have seen. Super. Okay, same. I feel much better about Mangold making Indy 5. Spielberg leaving doesn't entirely surprise me. He originally didn't want to direct Indy 4. Yeah, but it's still sad that he's leaving nonetheless because it's been his property, and I thought that he would want to have one more chance, one more movie to make up for Indy 4, right? To make up for the abomination that is Crystal Skull. It's actually kind of funny. I think it was one of my Valks. I think it was Steph last time. I made a comment crapping on Indy 4, and they were very offended by that, saying, "Oh, I can't believe it's either she showed me the message or it was a comment under a video where I had talked about Indy 4." And it was someone that was like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that. Indy 4 was actually a competently made movie." And I'm like, what movie did you watch? And he focused specifically on the beginning. And I'm like, did you forget the time where Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, got into a refrigerator and survived an atomic blast? Do you remember that part? Among all the other things going on in that movie? I thought that was funny, though. Glinzer, what's better for you? Patreon, Subscribestar, or YouTube memberships? Oh, Lord. All three of them have their advantages. So YouTube members, I would say, is at the bottom, only because YouTube sucks, as you all know. YouTube sucks, as I like to say. And they always take just a large cut out of everything. So you give more to YouTube. At this point, it's like YouTube gets more out of it than the actual content creators do. Subscribestar I like a lot, because I can do giveaways there directly. But at the same time, it's also got a very weird system as far as like cashing out and what the monthly donations are like. It's hard. It's a lot more difficult to keep track of when people start donating, how long they've been donating for. It doesn't keep things based off a month scale. It's like everyone's on their own month track. And it's hard for me to keep track of, are they actually charging people or not? And it's this weird thing. So Patreon is definitely the more refined of them, but Patreon also has its issues as well. So really, it's whatever's better for you. That's why I say if you want to support the channel in any way, I support it and I appreciate it. But as far as whatever the one is most polished for you, the viewer, Patreon's definitely going to be the more polished version of it. Subscribestar would then be the next one as far as just getting access to the giveaways more directly. If you choose the level for giveaways, that is. And then YouTube memberships, those are brand new. I'm still playing around with those, but there definitely are some limitations with YouTube memberships as well. Bad Hammy over on DLive just donated 5 lemons and 2 ice cream donations. So thank you very much for that, Bad Hammy. Mr. Peabody says, if we believed Indy 4, we would all drive fridges. They are apparently faster and safer than cars. Exactly, Mr. Peabody. You're exactly right on that. Alex McCarthy, member Alex McCarthy says, I believe Krista and Mark and possibly Ryan are streaming Mario Kart tonight. Not sure what channel. Of course they are. You know what? To be honest, I bet they've been having a conversation in the Geeks and Gamers chat about this, but I have to turn off. I have to like mute that chat because they just I get notifications on my wrist like constantly, and it gets pretty rough. It gets pretty rough. Oh, there it is. There's the Battlefront 2 stuff right there. Well. Looks like that one's on me. Probably will not be able to play tonight, though, because they stream so late. They stream so late. Speaking of streaming late, I do need to start wrapping things up in a little bit. Let's see if I can get through the rest of these comments as quickly as I can. Captain Wingstar, really need to rewatch the Batman animated series again. Do you know if it's on DC streaming service? Also, no Make a Man Out of You, because Me Too nonsense is nonsense. Well, again, there's no songs at all. Which means we're not getting Make a Man Out of You, which is one of the best parts of that movie. That and Reflection are the 2 best songs in that movie, in the 90s cartoon. So, yeah, we don't get that. Makes me a better sad person. Let's see. John Early, does Deadpool bother you because of the sex scenes between Ryan Reynolds and Maria Baccarin? Random and curious question. Yeah, I mean, it does in anything. It doesn't anything because I don't think those scenes do anything to further any stories. I think you can imply a lot of things, and it has the same impact. Cupcake says, "Are you interested? Interested. In a third installment of the Jumanji series, I love the series. I liked the reboot sequel that came out a couple years ago. The newest one is okay, right? It was funny at parts. It was fine. If it comes out, I'll probably go see it, but I don't know. I don't really know what else they could do from this point. Obviously, they can pick up from the events of the last film, but overall, I like it, but I'm not in love with it, if that makes sense. Jay Stowe, I think Mr. Freeze would make an interesting film, especially with his frozen wife being his whole motivation for his crimes. Yes, that's definitely a good shout. Hyper and Random share, I watched a soccer club match from Italy. Feels weird the teams were playing in an empty stadium due to the coronavirus spread. Yeah, soccer without a stadium full of fans doesn't sound as appealing. Hardwick, BBC head of drama Piers Wegner said this about the word woke. If it means quality being important and fair representation being important, then yes, absolutely that's important to me. Of course they would. Alex Garley says, on the Harley Quinn animated series, Bane sounds just like he did on The Dark Knight Rises. Really? G-Monkey, every time someone says Disney Bobs, I think of the movie Office Space. Hardwick, Wenger said equality, representation, portrayal, and diversity are things that matter hugely to the BBC, and we would be in a dereliction of duty if we didn't own those particular initiatives, and that is why they will fail. Soul Assassin on to play Bane, I would pick Batista or Roman Reigns. Oh, no. Roman Reigns, hell no. He can't act for anything. He couldn't even act in Hobbs and Shaw. No. And Batista, I personally think is overrated. That's just me, though. That's just me. Phonemo says, do your own stream. Show them who is really in charge. Nah. I'm not. I don't want to go against them. And Bad Hammy, thank you for hosting me. Still don't quite understand what that does, but hey, thank you. I appreciate you. Pin Drop, what's going on, Pin Drop, over on YouTube? Hybrid, are you a fan of the Critical Drinker? I like his attitude with his go away now or not, it'll be fine when he reviews movies. I don't watch his content. Alex Garley, I remember the great Indiana fridge ride. Zine Waters about Steve Trevor. It looks like the premise is a corporate guy offering fulfilling wishes as a product. I suppose this is why Steve is back. Diana is also heard commenting on lies. Okay, interesting. Zine says, so it might be that Steve Trevor isn't really back, but some kind of illusion. The bad guy in the comics is a telepath. That would make sense. That would make a lot more sense. Dean approved. Have you considered live streaming with Josiah at all? Also, cough. Sorry about the ones I planned with you guys. Cough. Dean approved. It's no problem at all, man. And I have no problem with it. I tend to do solo streams on my channel, except for my Chosen of Valhalla streams. And that's just the way. It's just the way that I do it. Just the way that I act. I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it. If anyone ever invites me to their channel, if I'm free, if I'm not doing anything and I can join them, I have no problem with that. There's been times when I've been on Drunk's channel in the chat and he's invited me on. I think there was even a time when maybe it was on Josiah's channel and he invited me on, right? So I would love to do. I love doing co-op streams, but I'd rather do it on the other channels. Just because I like having my channel the way it is. I don't know. It's a preference. It's a preferential thing. I'm not totally against it. Hardwick's continuing about the Wenger news also gave an excuse for why BBC is butchering adaptations of classic literature to make them more diverse. He said they need to speak to contemporary audience and represent a contemporary world as well as stories set in the past. That's the point of adaptation, and that's where the phrase "go woke, go broke" comes from. Hypern, gee dang it, I keep getting the names mixed up. Battlefront or Battlefield? Battlefront and Star Wars game. Yeah, Battlefront 2 is the Star Wars game. Let's see. Hyper says that horse scene from Jumanji 3 was so contrived but epic, I couldn't take it seriously. Super says, I'm not familiar with her work, but Melissa Chen is an editor and does nonprofit work. She's well known in the political social commentary sphere and is real big on free speech. Okay, gotcha. And Super says, you don't watch Drinker. He's rad. Definitely check out his vids when you have a moment. That's the problem is I normally don't have any moments. Captain Poppyton, thank you very much for the ice cream donation. Appreciate it. Mr. Peabody says, that's an idea now. They can have the Indy 4 fridge ride at Disneyland, but they might need more insurance. Yeah, damn right about that. Oh, man. Bruce says, put the word out, everyone tag or whatever you call it, to Elon Musk regarding Alita. I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, like, just to tag him to ask him about it. I don't know what that means. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the stream tonight. Thank you very much for joining us on this open forum. We might have another open forum on Tuesday. Depends on what news happens between now and then. Thank you for all the crazy, interesting questions. I love you guys. You are the core fans. You're the ones where you're like, we don't need to have a fun, crazy, topical topic. We can just talk about random things. So thank you all for staying around. Thank you all for being here. Father Christopher Miller just jumps back in and says, figures. Yeah, seriously, you jump back in and streams. It always comes in late for the streams. But seriously, thank you all for being here. You guys are so awesome. So hope you had a whole happy leap day. And also hope that you have fun on your Saturday evenings with the remaining time that you have. It's about to be March. It's about to be another month. Plan to do a lot more stuff in March for the Patreon Subscribe Star peeps, and also to offer more podcast content for them, and of course for YouTube memberships at that $10 and up level as well. Again, I do a podcast with John Flickinger. We do one every 2 weeks. So we do each our own podcast and then put it up on our own channels. So you can support both of us. You can support one of us. Maybe in the future we'll have some type of split deal where we'll do one giant big one. Half of it will be on his, half of it will be on mine. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go on though. But anyway, make sure you shout out, throw a coin to your Valkyrie. 70B for doing an amazing job tonight. Prayers still heading out over to Tina, who's having a blast on her cruise. So hope she continues to have fun, stays away from that coronavirus. And also, of course, we continue as a channel to pray for all those affected by the coronavirus. We pray for the stop of its spread and also for everyone's health and well-being. Nitrium says, it's been March here for over 14 hours. Well, remember Nitrium, not here yet. So thank you for the update, though. But anyway, D-Lab people, YouTube people, you're all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And D-Lab people, y'all stick around for the normals. You guys rock. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now to give a shout out to my February Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Animation Commentator, Brian P., Dion, David Brobrizik. Please let me know if I need to repronounce that name. DivX, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weird Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Jeffrey Lebowski, JJ Jonathan Jerembeck, Kenneth Cameo, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, and Tina B. And over on Subscribe Star, Robert Revo, Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2Cool99, Darkstar57, Alice McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Hild Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebanon G. Adams, and ZK-Man. Then a shout out to Riff Racer Request and Sir Lance Elato and Mike Jackson. You rock. Thank you very much for being my Patreon Subscribe Star members for the month of February. And if anyone else decides to join, at the next couple of days or so, I will add you into this list as well. You guys freaking rock. Have a wonderful one. And as always, God bless.